Han, you don't have to come this early.
You missed a spot.
Is that better? Yes.
You should go inside. It's cold.
She saw him again at dawn. Same place. Same cold expression. Same perfect suit that did not fit the parking lot at all. He stood near the black car, watching her wash it, like he always did. Silent, distant, careful not to show anything. "Mr. Han, you don't have to come this early," she said quietly. He did not answer. His eyes moved slowly over the wet surface of the car, then to her hands. She tried not to react, but something about the way he looked at her always made her chest tighten. He wasn't kind, he wasn't warm, but he stayed. "You missed a spot," he said. His voice was low, calm. She hated how it made her breathe differently. She wiped the area again. "Is that better?" He hesitated. A small pause. He always had those, like he fought with himself before speaking. "Yes." She nodded, trying to leave space between them. "You should go inside. It's cold." "You're cold," he said. Her head lifted. "I'm fine." He looked away quickly, almost annoyed that he had said something he didn't intend to. "Just finish quickly." She smiled a little. "I always do." He didn't move, didn't leave, just stood there, like he didn't want to walk away. At that moment, she realized something strange. He looked tired. Not physically, something else, something deeper. She swallowed. "Rough night?" He froze, his shoulders tensed. "Don't ask things you don't need to know." She nodded. "Okay." But he kept looking at her. And it wasn't the usual cold stare. It was softer, almost careful. "I'm not avoiding you," he said suddenly. She blinked. "I didn't say you were." "You looked like you were thinking it." "I wasn't." "You always think too much." "And you don't think enough." His eyes met hers sharply. The air shifted. Not hostile, but too close, too real. Heat started to climb up her neck. She turned away, washing the soap off the hood. He took a step closer. Not enough to touch, just enough to feel him. "Did you eat anything this morning?" She laughed softly. "Are you checking on me?" "No." He looked away again. "Just answering your question. You asked if I had a rough night. I'm returning the concern." She stared at him for a moment. "I had bread and coffee. That's all." "That's not enough." "It's enough for someone like me." He hated that sentence. She could see it in the way his jaw tightened. "Don't say things like that." "It's true." "It's not," he said quietly. Their eyes met again. Too long, too deep. She felt her throat tighten. He stepped back, almost as if he had crossed a line he wasn't ready to acknowledge. "Finish the car." She nodded, watching him turn away. But he didn't walk far. He stopped near the elevator, looking back at her, like he needed to make sure she didn't disappear. She didn't understand him. No one did. He rejected everyone, staff, executives, investors, anyone who tried to get close. But he never rejected her presence. Not once. She finished the last rinse, drops of water sliding down the door. Her hands shook slightly, and she wasn't sure why. He noticed. His voice softened. "You're shaking." "It's cold." "It's not the cold," he said. She froze. He shouldn't say things like that, not in that tone. He looked like he wanted to add something, but didn't. Instead, he reached out slowly, almost hesitant, and took the cloth from her hand. "Go inside for a moment," he said. "Warm up." She swallowed. "Why?" Another long pause. His eyes dropped to the ground, then lifted again. "Just go." But his voice lacked its usual edge. It wasn't an order. It was worry disguised as distance. She stepped back. "Mr. Han." He didn't look away this time. "Don't argue. Just stay where I can see you." Her heart trembled. He never said things like that. Never admitted to wanting someone close. She walked toward the small restroom beside the garage. When she turned back, he was still watching, still waiting, still choosing her without saying it. Inside, she leaned on the counter, trying to steady her breath. Something was changing. She felt it. He felt it, and neither of them knew how to stop it. Humanized FTA, inside Block 1. If you want this tension to grow deeper, stay with the story. There's more behind his silence, more behind her fear. Keep reading, and you'll feel it unfold. When she stepped back outside, he straightened slightly, like he had been waiting the entire time. "Better?" he asked softly. She nodded. He exhaled, a slow, quiet breath she wasn't meant to notice. Good. The parking lot felt different now, like the distance between them had shrunk in ways neither of them prepared for. And something inside him, something carefully hidden, started to crack. The morning rush began above them, people moving through the lobby with clipped heels and stiff voices, but the parking level stayed quiet. She wiped the last drops of water from her arms while he leaned against the wall, arms crossed, trying to look indifferently. He wasn't. Not today. "You're late going up," she said. "You're early finishing." That's not an answer. He looked at her like she was the only person who ever dared to push him. Maybe she was. "I have meetings," he said. "You always have meetings." He stayed silent. He hated when she was right. But today the silence wasn't sharp. It was softer, heavy with something neither of them wanting to say out loud. "I heard the board was here last night," she added carefully. He lifted his eyes. "Who told you that?" "People talk." "They shouldn't talk to you." "I'm not made of glass," she whispered. His jaw tightened again, but this time it wasn't anger. It was something protective, something he tried to hide every time she looked at him too closely. "You don't need to hear those things," he said. "And you don't need to carry things alone," she replied. The pause that followed was long, longer than usual. He didn't look away, and she didn't drop her gaze. It felt like something suspended between them. Too fragile, too warm, too dangerous. "You think you know me?" he said softly. "No, I think you pretend too hard." His breath caught, only for a second, but she noticed. He hated that she noticed. A worker passed by them, glancing between the two with curiosity. The CEO standing in a parking lot at dawn with a cleaning lady? It didn't make sense to anyone, except maybe to him. "You should go," he said quietly. "You want me to go?" He blinked once, slow. "That's not what I said." She stepped closer without thinking, just enough for him to straighten slightly, almost startled by the shift. "Then tell me what you mean," she said. He swallowed. His voice dropped. "I don't want you near the things happening upstairs." "I'm not upstairs," she said. "I'm here, with you." His breath faltered again. She shouldn't say things like that. He shouldn't react the way he did. But neither stopped. "You're too direct," he murmured. "You're too afraid." That hit him. He turned away sharply, hands in his pockets, trying to control the irritation flickering through him. Not irritation at her, at himself. "You don't understand," he said. "Then explain." "I don't explain myself." She gave a small, sad smile. "I know." When she moved past him to gather her bucket and cloths, he watched her hands again. He always looked at her hands first. Gentle, steady, careful. Different from everyone else who reached for him with ambition or expectation. "You're shaking again," he said. "I'm not." "You are." She sighed. "I'm tired. I worked late yesterday." His eyes softened in a way he would never admit. "What time?" "Around midnight." "That's too late." "For someone like me?" she teased. "No," he said quickly. Too quickly. "For anyone." She froze. He realized what he had just revealed and looked away, almost embarrassed. "You care too much for someone who pretends not to," she whispered. He didn't answer. He couldn't. He stepped closer instead, stopping right in front of her bucket. She looked up slowly, surprised by how close he was. His voice dropped to something almost unreadable. "Do you ever think," he said, "that some people don't know how to care the right way?" Her breath caught. "Are you talking about yourself?" He didn't respond. But he didn't deny it either. A distant elevator dinged. The sound broke whatever fragile moment had formed between them. He stepped back, clearing his throat. "I need to go," he said. She nodded, trying to steady her heartbeat. "Okay." But he didn't leave immediately. He took one last look at her, long enough to memorize something he didn't know how to protect. "If anyone bothers you today," he said softly, "tell me." She smiled faintly. "I can handle myself." "I know you can," he murmured, "but tell me anyway." Their eyes stayed locked for one more second. 1 second too much. Then he turned and finally entered the elevator. The doors closed slowly, and he didn't look away until the very last moment. He wasn't supposed to stay this long in places like this. He wasn't supposed to look at someone like her the way he did. But he did. And for the first time, she started wondering what he was fighting so hard to hide. He entered the conference room without a word. The director straightened immediately, sensing his mood before he even sat down. He gave no greetings, no explanations, just opened the folder in front of him and stared at the numbers like he wanted to tear them apart. "Is everything all right, Mr. Han?" one director asked carefully. His eyes didn't move. "Focus on the report." They all swallowed. They knew not to push him. But today, something about him was different. Sharper, quieter, colder. The kind of cold that came from distraction, not control. He kept seeing her hands rinsing the car, her voice saying he was afraid, the tremor in her fingers, the way she looked at him when he told her to stay where he could see her. It irritated him how easily she got into his thoughts. "Mr. Han?" another director said. He looked up slowly. "What?" "You skipped page 4. He blinked. He never missed anything, not one detail. He turned the page with a stiff motion, jaw tense. "I'm aware," he said, but he wasn't. The meeting dragged on, people speaking with cautious voices. He listened but didn't absorb. Every few minutes his chest tightened with a memory of her expression. Tired, cold, pretending she was fine. His fingers tapped the table, a small, restless movement he rarely showed. When the meeting ended, he stood abruptly. The directors watched him leave with uneasy glances. Something about him felt unstable, like he was holding too much behind his usual blank expression. His assistant rushed to catch up. "Sir, about the media inquiry." "Later." "But sir," I said later. She froze in place. He never snapped unless something deeper was wrong. He walked to his office and shut the door harder than intended. The sound echoed. He pressed his hands against the desk, staring at the city through the glass wall. He hated losing control. He hated worrying. He hated that he kept thinking of a woman who cleaned cars in a basement while he sat in a penthouse office, surrounded by power he couldn't feel today. His phone buzzed, a notification, a security alert for the parking levels. He unlocked it quickly, more quickly than he should have. A camera still image appeared. Her, carrying supplies, moving slowly, like her arms were heavy. His throat tightened. He put the phone down, but his hand didn't leave it. His eyes stayed fixed on the screen. He tried to return to his documents, but nothing stuck. His mind kept replaying the moment when she told him, "For someone like me?" He clenched his fist. He hated that phrase. He hated how small she made herself sound. He hated that she believed it. He left his office without warning. His assistant stood, startled. "Sir, where?" He didn't answer. He walked to the elevator, pressed the button, and waited with a rigid posture that made people step out of his way. When the doors opened, he entered alone. The descent felt slow, too slow. He wasn't sure what he was doing. He told himself it was rational, that he needed to check the vehicles, check the staff, check security protocols. But that was a lie. He didn't lie well, especially not to himself. When the doors opened to the garage, the familiar cold air hit him. She was there, kneeling beside another car, scrubbing the wheels, her movements slower than usual. She didn't notice him at first. He watched her. Quiet, unmoving. She finally looked up, surprised. "Mr. Han, you're back." He didn't answer right away. His chest tightened again, seeing the faint tremor in her hand. Not from cold, from exhaustion. He walked closer. Too close. She leaned back slightly, confused by his expression. "You didn't rest," he said. "I'm fine." He hated that answer. "You're not." "I said I'm fine." "You're not," he repeated, voice lower. She stared at him, unsure what to do. His eyes held something intense, worry mixed with frustration, something he didn't show to anyone else. He crouched down beside her without warning. His suit pressed against the concrete floor, but he didn't care. She froze. "What are you doing?" she whispered. "Looking at you." She swallowed. "Why?" He didn't have an answer he could say out loud. He lifted her wrist gently, inspecting her trembling hand. She tried to pull back, but his grip tightened. Not enough to hurt, just enough to stop her. "You're overworked," he said. "It's my job. It shouldn't be this much. It's just a long day." "It's too much," he said quietly. For a second, neither moved. His hand still held her wrist, his eyes still on her fingers. She whispered, "You shouldn't touch me like this." He didn't let go. "I know." His voice broke a little. Just a little. And she felt it. A shift. A crack. A truth neither of them was ready for. He finally released her hand, but stayed crouched beside her, breathing slowly, trying to calm something inside him. She looked at him differently now. Not as a CEO. Not as a distant man. But as someone who was fighting himself in every breath. "Why are you here?" she asked softly. He looked up, and for the first time, he didn't have an excuse. He didn't answer her question, not at first. His eyes stayed on the ground, then lifted slowly until they met hers. Something in him looked cornered, like he had been pushed against a wall he didn't expect. "I came to check the cars," he said. She exhaled softly, disappointed. "Right." He hated how that one word sounded. Too small, too resigned, too distant. He stood up fast, almost defensive. "It's my responsibility." She rose too, wiping her hands on her uniform. "You don't need to explain." "I'm not explaining." "Then why are you raising your voice?" He froze. Had he? His posture stiffened, jaw tight. "I'm not," he said quietly. She looked away. "It's fine." Something inside him snapped at those two words. "It's fine." The phrase she always used when she didn't want to cause trouble, when she wanted to disappear. "It's not fine," he said. "Nothing about today is fine." She blinked. "Because I'm slow? Because I'm not perfect like your staff upstairs?" His breathing changed. "Don't say things like that." "Why not? That's how people see me." "Not everyone." She stared at him carefully. "Do you mean you?" He froze. That was the crack. He turned away sharply. "Don't twist my words." "I didn't twist anything." Her voice shook slightly, not from fear, but from frustration. Real frustration. The kind she never showed him. The kind he didn't know how to handle. "You always do this," she said. "You show up, you say one soft thing, and then you act like nothing happened." His shoulders tensed. "I don't. You do." Her words were quiet, honest, heavy. "You make me think you care," she said, "and then you pull back so fast I feel stupid for believing it." His breath stopped for a moment. His fingers curled into fists. He wanted to deny it. He wanted to say she was wrong. But she wasn't, and he knew it. "You don't understand," he said. "Then explain." "I can't." "Why?" "Because you wouldn't get it." The second he said it, her expression changed. Slowly, deeply, like something fragile inside her snapped clean in two. She stepped back. "Right, because I'm just the cleaning lady." "Stop," he said immediately. Too sharp, too late. She shook her head and laughed softly. A tired laugh, not amused at all. "You know, I didn't expect you to say it out loud. I didn't mean. You did. He moved toward her. She stepped back again. You don't get to decide what I understand, she whispered. You don't get to decide what I'm worth. His face hardened, not with anger at her, but with anger at himself, with panic he couldn't show, with emotions he didn't know how to hold. You're putting words in my mouth, he said. No, I'm hearing the ones you didn't say. She started gathering her supplies, trying to steady her breathing. He watched her hands tremble again, but this time he caused it. That realization made something painful twist inside him. Don't walk away, he said quietly. I'm not walking away. I'm working. You're upset. Of course I'm upset. Her voice cracked, just a little. You treat everyone cold. I get that. But with me, she swallowed, with me it's different. And I don't know what that means. And I'm tired of pretending I don't notice. His chest tightened so hard he felt breathless. He stepped closer without thinking. You shouldn't notice, he said. You shouldn't pay attention to me. She laughed again, bitter this time. You come down here before sunrise just to watch me work. You ask if I ate. You tell me to warm up. You tell me to stay where you can see me. And then you say I shouldn't pay attention? He closed his eyes for a second. His voice dropped to something fragile. I didn't mean to make it complicated. You did. Silence. Real silence. He opened his eyes, and for the first time, she saw something raw in them. Not coldness, not distance. Fear. Fear of being seen, fear of being wanted, fear of wanting. You're crossing lines, Mr. Hahn, she whispered, and then blaming me for feeling confused. He inhaled sharply, almost pained. I'm not blaming you. You are. He took another step closer. She backed into the car behind her, startled by how close he suddenly was. His hand lifted slightly, like he wanted to touch her, but didn't dare. You don't know what you're saying, he murmured. I know exactly what I'm saying. He clenched his jaw. His breath hitched. Something inside him cracked wider. Don't make me the only one confused here, she said. If you don't feel anything, say it. He froze, completely. Say it, she repeated. His throat worked, his eyes flinched, but no words came. And that silence hurt more than any answer. She stared at him for a long second. Her eyes softened in the saddest way. That's what I thought, she whispered. She grabbed her bucket and walked past him. He didn't move. He didn't breathe. He just stood there, watching her walk away, knowing he caused it. That was the moment of maximum humiliation, not from her, but from himself. Because he had finally realized the truth. He wasn't rejecting her. He was rejecting the part of himself that cared too much. She didn't look back, not once. Her steps were steady, but her breathing wasn't. He heard it, the small, shaky exhale she tried to hide. It hit him harder than any board meeting, any crisis, any confrontation he had faced in years. He stayed frozen for a moment, staring at the place she had been standing. His chest tightened painfully, and for a second he wondered if this was what people meant when they talked about regret. He hated the feeling, hated how fast it consumed him, hated that he had no control over it. He turned sharply, heading toward the elevator, intending to escape before he made things worse. But someone stepped into his path. Sir? It was Min-jae, the head of maintenance. Older, calm, observant. And today, uncomfortably perceptive. Move, the CEO said. No, Min-jae replied. Han stopped. No one told him no. No one blocked his path. No one dared. But Min-jae did, because Min-jae had been here long before Han took power, and he knew the man behind the suit better than most. You made her cry, Min-jae said quietly. Han's jaw clenched. I didn't. You did. Silence. Heavy. Crushing. Min-jae stepped closer. Not aggressive, just honest. She's a good girl, he said. Works hard. Never complains. and she notices things she shouldn't. Han stiffened. What do you mean by that? She notices you, Min-jae said, more than she wants to. Those words felt like a punch he wasn't prepared for. Don't say things you don't understand, Han muttered. I understand perfectly, Min-jae replied. I've seen you watching her for weeks. Han froze. Min-jae continued. You think nobody sees the way you look at her? Son, your eyes aren't as cold as you pretend. Han felt heat rise in his chest, unfamiliar and uncomfortable. This is inappropriate. No, what's inappropriate is how you push her away after pulling her in. Han inhaled sharply. The truth stung. You don't know the situation, he said. I know enough, Min-jae answered, and I know she's hurting right now. Han's composure thinned, barely holding. She misunderstood. Then fix it. Han looked away, breath uneven. It's not that simple. Min-jae's voice softened. You like her. Han closed his eyes. Stop. Then tell me I'm wrong. Silence. Min-jae nodded, as if confirming the answer the CEO couldn't admit. Sir, people like you don't get many chances. When someone sees you and doesn't run away, you should think carefully before letting them go. Han's breathing faltered. His walls cracked. His hands curled, not in anger, this time in fear. Real fear. The kind that made his voice lower when he finally spoke. She said I make things complicated, he whispered. You do, Min-jae said. But she's still here, isn't she? Even after that. Han swallowed hard. He hated how much those words mattered. Min-jae sighed, patting his shoulder once. Go after her. Not to explain, just to listen. Han didn't move. Couldn't move. Min-jae added quietly. She thinks you don't feel anything. And if you stay silent, she'll start believing it. That pierced deeper than anything else. Han looked toward the far end of the garage where she had disappeared. His chest tightened again, this time with urgency, with panic, with something he couldn't hide behind silence anymore. But before he took a step, Min-jae said one more thing. Don't speak like a CEO when you go to her, he warned. Speak like a man who doesn't want to lose her. Han's breath caught. He nodded once, barely noticeable, but it was enough. He walked quickly, faster than he meant to, turning the corner into the maintenance corridor. She was there, leaning against the wall, shoulders trembling, fighting tears she didn't want anyone to see. He stopped a few feet away. He didn't speak, didn't try to control the moment, didn't bring excuses. He just let himself look at her, really look at her, standing small and tired and hurt because of him. She wiped her cheeks fast when she saw him. I'm working. Don't say anything. He didn't move closer. He didn't step back. His voice came out low, restrained. I'm not here to correct you. She stiffened. I'm not here to argue, he added. She stared at the floor. Then why are you here? He swallowed hard. The truth pressed against his throat. He wasn't ready to say it. Not yet. But he could say something else, something he had never said to anyone. I was wrong. Her head lifted slowly. He exhaled shakily. I shouldn't have spoken to you the way I did. She didn't answer. He took one step closer, just one. Enough for her to feel the sincerity he was terrible at expressing. You didn't misunderstand, he said. I just don't know how to say things right. Her breath caught. And I don't want you to stop noticing me. She didn't respond right away. Her eyes softened, but there was still pain under the surface. Pain he had put there. He didn't look away this time. He didn't retreat. He stood in front of her, breathing slowly, trying not to push, trying not to scare her, with the intensity he couldn't hide anymore. You don't want me to stop noticing you? She repeated quietly. He nodded once. A small, controlled motion. No. She looked down at her hands, rubbing her thumb against her palm, grounding herself. Why? He opened his mouth, then closed it. The truth sat heavy on his tongue, too vulnerable to say directly. He searched for words he wasn't used to using, words that wouldn't sound like orders or distance or corporate language. "I'm learning," he said, "how to talk to you, how to not ruin things every time I open my mouth." A small exhale escaped her. Not a laugh, more like disbelief mixed with something warmer. "You don't ruin things," she said quietly. "You just run from them." He straightened slightly. Her honesty hit too close. But this time, he didn't react with defensiveness. He just absorbed it. "I know," he said. "I've been running for a long time." From what? From who? She didn't ask. She saw the way his eyes shifted, the way his jaw tightened, the way his breath caught. There were things he wasn't ready to reveal yet. So she waited. And for once, he didn't make her wait long. He took a step closer. No hesitation, no pulling back. His voice softened in a way that reached straight through her walls. "I don't want to run anymore," he said. Her breath hitched. "Because of me?" He didn't blink. Yes. Her fingers trembled again, but not from anger this time. Something else. Something warm and fragile. Before she could answer, a voice echoed from the hallway. "There you are!" They both turned. It was Sua, one of the junior managers. Young, beautiful, confident, the type of woman who usually clung to the CEO at corporate events, always smiling, always trying to get close. Sua's eyes widened when she noticed them standing too close. Her gaze sharpened, turning cold as it landed on the cleaning lady. "What's going on?" Sua asked, forcing a polite tone. Han's expression changed instantly, back to the unreadable CEO mask. But under it, she could see a flicker of annoyance. "Nothing you need to be involved in," he said. Sua didn't take the hint. She moved closer, placing a hand on his arm with practiced familiarity. "Your next meeting is waiting," she said sweetly. He removed his arm from her touch, subtle but clear. "I know my schedule," he replied. Sua's smile faltered. She looked between the two of them again, eyes narrowing. "I didn't realize you had conversations down here." Her tone made it sound like an insult. The cleaning lady lowered her gaze, feeling that familiar sting, belonging nowhere near his world. Sua's presence reminded her exactly how different they were, how impossible this was. Han noticed her expression change instantly. "Sua," he said coldly without looking at her, "go upstairs." She blinked, stunned. I just came to go." The single word held no warmth, no tolerance. Sua stepped back, humiliated. Before leaving, she shot one last glare at the cleaning lady, sharp, cutting, filled with jealousy she didn't bother hiding. When she was gone, silence filled the hallway. The cleaning lady exhaled shakily. "She's right, you know." "About what?" "That I don't belong in a conversation with you." His jaw flexed. "Don't say that." "She looked at me like I shouldn't even be standing here." "She doesn't decide that," he said sharply. "But everyone thinks it." "I don't care what everyone thinks." "But I do," she whispered. That hit him harder than anything so far. He stepped closer again, slow, deliberate. "Look at me." She didn't. He said it again, softer. "Look at me." She lifted her eyes. His voice lowered. "I came down here because I chose to. Not because I was forced, not because of duty, because of you." Her chest tightened. "And I'm not letting someone like her make you doubt your place," he added quietly. She swallowed hard. "What place is that?" He hesitated. Just a breath, just a flicker, but it was enough to show how dangerous the truth felt. "I don't know yet," he said, "but I know I want you in it." Her hand gripped the strap of her cleaning bag, knuckles white. She didn't trust herself to speak. He waited. She finally whispered, "This feels too much." "I know." "You scare me." "I know that too." "Then why?" "Because you're the only person I don't want to push away," he said. Her eyes glistened. His voice softened further. "Let me try. Just let me try to do this right." She didn't say yes. She didn't say no. But she didn't step back. And for him, that was enough to breathe again. She stood still, hands slightly trembling, eyes locked on him, like she was afraid of what he might say next, and even more afraid of what she might feel if he said it gently. He didn't rush her. For once, he didn't try to control the moment. He let the silence settle around them, soft but heavy, waiting for her to breathe again. "You want to try," she finally said, "but you don't even know how." He nodded. "I know." "Then how do we do this?" He inhaled slowly, one step at a time. She shook her head. "You say that like you're the one who panics when things get too close." He didn't deny it. His gaze lowered for a moment, then lifted again. "I panic because I don't want to hurt you." "You already did." Her voice wasn't angry. It wasn't accusing. It was just true. He flinched slightly. That truth always hit harder when she said it gently. She continued, "I'm not asking for anything from you. I'm not asking for whatever this is supposed to become. But if you're going to come into my life, then don't disappear the moment it scares you." His shoulders rose with a quiet breath. "I'm trying not to." Trying isn't enough. He took one step closer. Not too close, just enough to make her look at him again. "What do you want me to do right now?" he asked quietly. She didn't expect that. She blinked, hesitating. "I want you to be honest," she said. His fingers twitched, a small, involuntary reaction. Honesty was a territory he avoided almost as much as vulnerability. Still, he forced himself to speak. "I came down here because I was worried." She swallowed. "I stayed because I didn't want you to be upset with me." Her breath trembled. "And I said the wrong things because I'm afraid of saying the right ones." Her eyes softened against her will. "Why?" His voice lowered, almost breaking. "Because the right things mean something." The air shifted between them, warmer, heavier. She whispered, "Then say one right thing. Just one." He looked at her for a long moment, struggling. His throat moved as he swallowed, his jaw tightening with the effort of pulling honesty from a place he usually kept locked. "I don't want distance between us," he said finally. A soft, fragile truth, but real. Her breath caught. "Then why do you create it?" "Because I don't know how to ask you to stay." She froze. He looked almost ashamed after saying it, as if the words had slipped out before he could stop them. "I don't want to lose control around you," he admitted, "but I don't want you to walk away either." "I wasn't walking away," she whispered. "I was protecting myself." "And I'm trying to learn how to protect you too," he said. That made her shoulders drop, just a little, a softening he noticed instantly. But the moment didn't stay soft for long. A sudden voice echoed from the garage entrance. "There you are, sir." Both turned. It was Chairman Han, his father, cold, severe, a presence that froze the air around him. The CEO straightened immediately, a reflex carved into him since childhood. His expression shut down, every trace of softness replaced with rigid professionalism. The cleaning lady stepped back instinctively. The chairman's eyes moved between them, slow, calculated, judging. "I see you're occupied." Han's jaw clenched. "What do you need?" "Your presence, immediately," the chairman said. Then he looked directly at her, dismissive. "I didn't realize your employees were allowed to take up your work hours." She flinched, lowering her gaze. Han's tone turned sharp. "Don't speak to her like that." The chairman paused. His eyes narrowed. "Excuse me?" "She's working," Han said. "You're interrupting her." The chairman stared at his son, stunned by the defiance. "Watch your tone." Han didn't back down. "Then watch yours." The cleaning lady felt a jolt of panic. She stepped between them slightly, shaking her head. "It's okay. Really, I don't want any trouble." Han didn't move, didn't soften. His eyes stayed locked on his father. The chairman's voice turned cutting. "You will come with me now. We need to discuss the board's situation." And you, he glanced at her again, should remember your place. Han took a step forward, blocking his father's line of sight. My place, he said coldly, is wherever I decide to stand. A dangerous silence spread. The chairman's expression hardened. We will discuss this later. He turned and walked away. When he disappeared around the corner, the CEO finally exhaled, a slow, heavy breath. She watched him carefully. You didn't have to do that. Yes, he said. I did. That was your father. I know who he is. You talked back to him because of me. He shook his head. I talked back because he was wrong. She didn't know what to say. No one had ever defended her like that. Not in front of someone powerful, not with that kind of conviction. He looked at her again, eyes softer than before. Don't disappear, he said quietly. Not after this. She didn't move away this time, and he felt it. He stood there for a moment, breathing slowly, trying to shake off the tension his father always left behind. She watched him carefully. His stiff shoulders, the way his hand hovered near his pocket like he needed something to hold on to, the slight tremor he tried to hide. He wasn't as unshakable as people believed. Not today. You should go after him, she said quietly. He shook his head. He'll wait. You sure? I'm not letting him drag you into whatever game he's playing. She bit her lip. It's not a game. It is to him. His voice turned colder. Everything is. She stepped forward a little, hesitant. He didn't look happy. He never is. And he looked at me like, don't finish that. His tone softened. Please. She stopped. Something in his expression, tired, raw, made her stay silent. But the tension didn't fade. If anything, it grew thicker around them. He turned his head slightly, listening to the distant echo of footsteps overhead. He's going to make this difficult. For you? For both of us. Her breath faltered. There's a both of us now? His eyes lowered to the ground. There has been for a while. She swallowed hard. She didn't know how to respond to that. Not when her heart was beating too fast, not when everything between them felt like thin ice and fire at the same time. Before she found words, someone else stepped into the hallway. Sua, again. But this time she wasn't smiling. She wasn't pretending. Her expression was sharp, eyes glinting with something between anger and triumph. So it's true, she said. Han's shoulders tensed immediately. What? You and her. The cleaning lady stiffened. There's nothing? Don't bother, Sua cut her off. Half the staff saw you two down here, and Mr. Han, your father didn't exactly whisper when he stormed into the floor. Han stepped in front of the cleaning lady. This is none of your business. Oh, but it is, Sua said, lifting her chin. Because when the board finds out the CEO is spending private time with a cleaning girl instead of handling the crisis upstairs, guess who they'll blame? Han's jaw tightened. Say another word and you're out. Really? Sua smirked. Fire me, and watch how fast your father uses it to bury you. The cleaning lady felt her stomach twist. Mr. Han? Don't, he whispered to her without looking back. Don't say anything. Sua crossed her arms. I tried to warn you, sir. People like her don't stay invisible for long. Someone's already talking. And your father? He's furious. He didn't react. But the flicker in his eyes? That was real fear. Sua saw it, and she pushed harder. Should I tell you the best part? She asked, voice dripping with satisfaction. I overheard him making a call just now. He's planning to remove you from negotiations. Says you're distracted and emotionally compromised. Han's breath stopped. He's blaming her, Sua added, glancing at the cleaning lady with fake sympathy. Isn't that something? The cleaning lady's face went pale. Because of me? No, Han said sharply. No, this has nothing to do with you. Yes, it does, Sua said, smiling like she had already won. The cleaning lady backed away a step, chest tight. I didn't. I didn't want. Sua spoke softly, pretending to console her. People like him can't afford weaknesses, and people like you're the easiest thing to blame. Han moved so fast it startled both women. He stepped towards Sua, voice low and lethal. Say one more thing about her. Just one. Sua's smile faded. Fear flickered in her eyes. She took a step back. I'm only repeating what your father said, she muttered. Get out, Han said. Sua didn't argue this time. She turned and walked away, but before she disappeared, she threw one last poisonous glance at the cleaning lady. When the hallway was finally quiet, he turned to her immediately. It's not your fault, he said. But she shook her head, tears rising fast. Your father wants you removed because of me. No, he said. I don't care what he said. You should, she whispered. He's powerful. He can hurt you. I've been dealing with him my entire life. But not because of me, she said, voice trembling. He stepped closer, desperate to anchor her. Listen, I'm ruining things. You're not. I am. You're not, he repeated, voice firm. She covered her face with her hands for a moment, exhaling shakily. He moved closer, gently pulling her hands down so she would look at him. You didn't do anything wrong, he said, softer now. You didn't ask for this. You didn't start this. Her eyes met his, full of fear and guilt. Then who did? He didn't answer, because they both knew. He did. And now the consequences were coming for them, fast. She stood there, trembling, trying to process everything that had just crashed into her life. A few hours ago, she was scrubbing a car in silence. Now she was at the center of whispers, rumors, power plays, and a father who treated her like a stain on his son's reputation. This is getting out of control, she whispered. It's under control, Han said. It's not. It will be. You can't promise that. He didn't answer. Not because she was wrong, but because he didn't know how to protect her from a world designed to crush people like her without blinking. She wiped her face, trying to pull herself together. If people are talking, maybe I should keep my distance. No, it might make things easier. No, he said it too fast, too sharply. She bit her lip. You're making this harder than it needs to be, she whispered. I'm trying to keep you safe, he countered. From who? Your father? The board? The staff? All of them see me as a problem. You're not a problem. But they think I am. He exhaled through his nose, frustrated. I don't care what they think. But I do, she whispered. I don't want to be the reason you lose your position. His eyes flickered, something vulnerable, something almost frightened. You won't, he said. I can handle him. She shook her head. You say that like he hasn't controlled your entire life. His silence answered for him. She stepped back, creating a small distance. He immediately hated the space. Don't do that, he said softly. I have to think. I'm thinking too. No, you're reacting. There's a difference. He stared at her, breath uneven. She wasn't backing down. She wasn't breaking. She was steadying herself, even while scared. And he admired that more than he could say. Before either of them could speak again, the elevator doors opened. The chairman's secretary stepped out, stern, nervous, formal. Mr. Han, she said, the board is requesting your presence immediately. He didn't look at her. Tell them I'm afraid they insisted, sir, she swallowed, and they asked that she be removed from the premises. The words slapped the air. Han's expression changed instantly, dangerously cold. No. It wasn't a suggestion, the secretary said quietly. It's not happening, he replied, stepping in front of the cleaning lady. The secretary hesitated. Sir, they received photos. His blood ran cold. What photos? The secretary held up a tablet. On the screen, grainy images from security cameras. Him standing close to her. Him holding her wrist. Him crouched beside her. Him blocking his father's view of her. Out of context, every image looked intimate. Too intimate. His eyes darkened. Who leaked these? The chairman hinted. He closed his eyes for a second. A bitter, deep inhale. Of course he did. The cleaning lady felt her heart sink. Mr. Han, he turned to her, fast. Don't say anything. But I said don't. She swallowed the rest of her words. The secretary added, there's also footage circulating internally. People are talking. Sua, it had to be Sua, or someone she fed information to. Hans stepped closer to the secretary, lowering his voice. If the board wants to discuss my leadership, they can do it to my face. But no one touches her. No one approaches her. No one speaks to her. Understood? The secretary nodded quickly. Understood. She backed away, disappearing into the elevator again. The moment the doors closed, Han turned to her. Her eyes were already glistening. I can't be the reason you lose everything. You're not. You might. I won't. She shook her head, voice breaking. They want me gone. They can't fire you. They can make your life hell. They already do. She blinked at him. His voice softened, almost pleading. Don't walk away because of them. I'm walking away because I'm scared. He stepped closer. So am I. She froze. He had never admitted fear before. Not once. Hearing it now, said quietly, honestly, without pride, shook her more than everything else happening around them. He added, but I'm more afraid of losing you than losing my position. Her breath caught. He looked down for a moment, fingers curling at his sides. The confession cost him something. It was carved out of a place he didn't show anyone. She whispered, you don't mean that. I do. You're saying it because everything is falling apart. I'm saying it because everything is falling apart. Silence. The raw truth of that hung between them. Then he stepped even closer, not touching her, just near enough that she felt his breath. I don't care about the job if I have to lose you to keep it, he said. Her lips parted, but no words came. He looked away, jaw tight. I shouldn't have said that. Yes, she whispered, you should have. Before the moment could settle, speakers crackled overhead. Mr. Han to the boardroom, immediately. He looked toward the ceiling. She looked at him. Everything between them paused, heavy, fragile, breathless. He whispered, stay here. She didn't answer. He stepped closer again, voice low, almost trembling. Please. He held her gaze for 3 long seconds. Then he turned and walked toward the elevator, shoulders squared, expression hardening, walking straight into a room full of people waiting to tear him apart. The boardroom door closed behind him with a heavy thud. 12 executives sat around the long table, expressions tight, wary, already armed with conclusions. His father stood at the head of the room, fingers interlaced, posture rigid, a man ready to strike. Han walked to his seat without bowing his head, without apology, without hesitation. But inside, a storm churned. Every argument, every accusation, every possible punishment, they were all already lined up against him. Sit, the chairman ordered. He didn't. If this meeting is about her, it's about you, his father snapped. One of the directors cleared his throat. We received concerning footage. Han's jaw tightened. Footage taken out of context. Context doesn't change optics, another director added. You were seen in a secluded area with a cleaning employee, multiple times. Early morning, extended interactions, physical proximity. Han's voice cut through the room. Stop talking about her like she's something inappropriate. A few directors shifted uncomfortably. His father's eyes sharpened. This company depends on reputation, the chairman said. Investors are already asking questions. The staff is gossiping. Your behavior is unprofessional. My behavior is none of their business. It is when it affects the company. It didn't. It does now. Han felt his pulse spike, but he forced his voice to stay level. If you want to discuss numbers, strategy, projections, I'm here. But if this is about my personal life, this is about a liability, his father said coldly, and she is the liability. Han stepped forward. She did nothing wrong. She exists, the chairman said. That's enough. Something inside Han snapped, so visibly that half the board looked away. He spoke through clenched teeth. If anyone here thinks they can insult her in front of me, you're mistaken. His father let out a humorous laugh. Look at you. All this over a girl scrubbing cars in the basement. Don't, Han warned. Do you think she cares about you? Do you think she's not using you to lift herself out of her position? You're a fool, just like your mother. Han's entire body went still. The room froze. The chairman realized too late that he'd crossed a line, a deep one carved by years of silence and resentment. Han's voice dropped, low and dangerous. Don't ever compare her to my mother. His father straightened. You're being emotional. I'm being human. CEOs don't have the luxury. I didn't ask to be CEO. Silence fell. One director cleared his throat timidly. We're not asking you to step down. We're simply asking for separation, distance. Fire her, another added quietly. End the problem before it grows. Han felt the world tilt. Fire her, remove her, erase her. His father nodded. For once, the board is unanimous. She goes. Han's pulse roared in his ears, loud, violent, furious. No! The chairman stiffened. This isn't a negotiation. I said no. You're choosing her over your position? Han didn't hesitate. Yes. Gasps filled the room. His father's voice turned icy. Do you understand what you're saying? Han met his gaze with steady defiance. Perfectly. You'd give up everything? The chairman pressed. Han thought of her trembling hands, her voice breaking, the way she stepped back when she thought she was hurting him, the fear in her eyes, the way she stayed anyway. I'd give up anything, he said quietly, but I won't let you destroy her life for something she didn't do. His father leaned back slowly, studying him like a stranger. Then you're unfit to lead. Han lifted his chin. Maybe, but I'm not unfit to care. The chairman's face hardened. Security will escort her out within the hour. Something inside Han fractured. He slammed his hand on the table so hard several board members flinched. If you bring security anywhere near her, I will walk out of this building and never return. You won't, the chairman said. Try me. His father exhaled sharply, struggling to regain his authority. You're acting irrational. I'm acting, Han said, for the first time in years. A tense silence filled the room. You're making a mistake, the chairman said. Maybe, Han said, but she isn't the mistake. He turned toward the door. We're not finished, his father warned. Yes, Han said without looking back, we are. And he walked out, straight out of the boardroom, straight out of the pressure that had shaped him since childhood. Each step felt heavier, faster. He didn't go to his office. He didn't check messages. He didn't care about the whispers following him through the hallway. He went where he needed to be, back to the basement, back to her. When he reached the parking level, he saw her sitting near the storage shelves, knees pulled to her chest, staring at the floor, like she was bracing herself for the worst. When she noticed him, she stood quickly. What happened? He didn't speak. He walked straight to her. Close, too close. She froze. He whispered, voice breaking for the first time. They want to fire you. She swallowed. I figured. I didn't let them. Her breath caught. Han, I won't let anything from you, he said, not even my father. Why? She whispered. He didn't look away. Because losing you, his voice cracked, is the one thing I won't survive. Her eyes filled instantly, and neither of them moved. Not yet. For a moment, neither of them spoke. The air felt too heavy, too full, too close. She looked at him with wide, shaken eyes, the kind of eyes that didn't know whether to believe him or run from the weight of what he just said. He stepped closer, not fast, not demanding, just enough so she felt the warmth of him in front of her. "You won't survive losing me?" she whispered, voice trembling. He nodded once, a small, raw movement. "I won't," he said. "I've already lost too much. I won't lose you, too." She swallowed hard, fingers curling against her uniform. "You don't even know what you're saying." He took a slow breath. "I know exactly what I'm saying." "You're emotional. You just walked out of a fight with your father." "This isn't about my father." "Maybe it is." "It's not." She shook her head. "You're overwhelmed. You're angry. I'm in love." Her words died instantly. Silence. Sharp. Absolute. Her breath stopped. His, too. "I'm in love with you," he repeated quietly, like it hurt to admit it and healed him at the same time. "I've been trying not to be. I've been pretending I wasn't. I've been pushing you away because it terrified me." She stared at him, stunned. You don't say things like that." "I do now." "You don't love people." "I love you." Her knees nearly weakened. She gripped the shelf behind her for balance. He stepped closer again, voice softer. "I didn't know what to do with it. I thought distance would protect you. I thought silence would control it. I thought ignoring it would make it disappear." His jaw flexed. "But it didn't. It got worse. I can't walk into a room without thinking of you. I can't look at a car without thinking of you. I can't breathe some days because I'm afraid of losing you." She covered her mouth with her hand, tears filling her eyes. He gently lowered her hand from her face. "Look at me," he whispered. She did. His eyes weren't cold, not hard, not distant. They were terrified, and warm, and honest in a way she never imagined he could be. "I know I'm difficult," he said. "I know I'm not easy. I know I say the wrong things. I know I make it complicated. But I'll spend the rest of my life learning how to do this right, if you let me." A tear slid down her cheek. "I don't want to be a burden," she whispered. "You're not. I don't want to get you hurt. You won't. You might lose everything." "If I lose everything but keep you," he said softly, "I'll still be ahead." Her breath broke. He reached out, slowly, giving her time to pull back if she needed. His fingers touched her cheek, gentle in a way she didn't expect from him. She didn't step away. "You said you were scared," he said. "So am I." His thumb brushed another tear. "But being scared with you is better than being empty without you." She closed her eyes for a moment, overwhelmed. He leaned in, close enough that she felt his breath, close enough that his forehead nearly touched hers, but he didn't close the final space. Not without her. "You tell me to stop," he whispered, "and I will. You tell me to walk away, and I'll force myself to. But if you want me to stay, if you want me at all, just say it." Her lips parted. "I don't know how to do this." "Neither do I." "What if we ruin each other?" He exhaled a broken laugh. "Then at least we ruined each other together." She let out a shaky breath that could have been a laugh or a sob. "I don't want you to get hurt," she murmured. He pressed closer. "I'll get hurt without you." Her eyes lifted to his. Something shifted. Something gave in. Something surrendered. She whispered, barely audible, "I want you to stay." His breath caught, fully stopped, like the words had undone every knot inside him. He cupped her face with both hands now, exhaling shakily. "Say it again." "Stay," she whispered. "Stay with me." His forehead finally touched hers, their breaths mixing, their hearts racing too fast, too close. He closed his eyes. "I'm here." Her hands trembled as she reached up, holding his wrists lightly, not pulling him in, not pushing him away. Just holding. For him, that was enough. He leaned in slowly, carefully, giving her every chance to refuse. She didn't. Their noses brushed. Her breath hitched. But before his lips could touch hers, before the moment finally broke open, the stairwell door slammed open. Both of them jumped slightly. A security guard rushed in, eyes wide. "Sir, there's a problem upstairs. You need to come now." Han didn't move. He didn't release her face. He didn't look away from her. "What problem?" he asked, without shifting an inch. The guard hesitated, glancing between them. "It's bad, sir. Your father. He's making an announcement." Han's eyes narrowed. "What kind of announcement?" The guard swallowed. "About your position." The air froze again. He closed his eyes for one brief moment, collecting himself. Then he stepped back, reluctantly, slowly, his hands trailing off her cheeks as if it pained him to let go. She whispered, "Go." He shook his head once. "I shouldn't leave you." "You have to." He exhaled, a painful sound. "I'll come back," he said. Her voice trembled. "I'll be here." He turned to follow the guard, but right before stepping out, he glanced back at her. One single look, full of everything he didn't have time to say. Then he disappeared around the corner. And she stood alone, heart racing, knowing the moment he walked into that room, everything might change. For both of them. She stood in the parking level, hugging her arms to her chest, listening to the fading footsteps as he rushed upstairs. Every sound echoed, metal doors, hurried voices, the distant murmur of tension building somewhere above her. She felt small, too small for the weight of what was happening, but she stayed exactly where he asked her to. Minutes passed, then more. Her heartbeat wouldn't slow. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw his face inches from hers, felt the warmth of his hands, heard the tremble in his voice when he said he was in love with her. She didn't know if that moment would survive what was coming next. Upstairs, the doors of the main hall slammed shut. People rushed toward the noise, whispering, staring. She couldn't see it, but she imagined him walking into a room full of people waiting to remove him. Not because he failed at his job, but because he cared for someone he shouldn't. Her. She pressed a hand against her stomach, trying to breathe. The garage stayed empty, silent, cold, until the elevator finally chimed. Her head snapped up. Footsteps approached, fast, uneven, almost desperate. Then he appeared, out of breath, tie loosened, jacket half unbuttoned, eyes searching for her like he couldn't breathe until he found her. When he saw her, everything in his face softened with relief so strong it made her knees weak. She stepped forward. "What happened?" He shook his head, still trying to catch his breath. "It's done." "Done how? Done what?" He took another shaky breath. "My father, the board, they can't remove me." She blinked. "They tried?" "They announced it." His voice tightened. "Publicly, in front of senior management." "And?" "And it backfired." She widened her eyes. "How?" He raked a hand through his hair, exhausted. "Because people assumed they were removing me over corruption or negligence, not because of you." She swallowed. "And when they found out?" He let out a breath that almost sounded like a laugh. "They didn't find out. I told them the truth before my father could twist it." Her eyes widened. "You told them? About me?" He nodded. "I told them I care about you, that I wasn't ashamed of it, and that if they wanted me out, I'd walk out myself." She covered her mouth with her hand. "Han," he stepped closer, voice gentler. "I didn't lose my position, but I meant it when I said I'd give it up if I had to." Her eyes filled again. "You shouldn't have to lose anything because of me." He shook his head. "I'm not losing anything." His voice lowered. "I already found something I never thought I'd have." She looked down, tears trembling on her lashes. "I'm scared. I know. I don't want people to look at me the way your father did." "They won't. They already do." He exhaled slowly, stepping even closer. "Then let me stand with you." She blinked up at him. "What does that mean?" "It means I'm done hiding how I feel." His throat moved as he swallowed. "It means if people talk, they talk. If the board questions me, they question me. If my father threatens me, he threatens me. But I'm not letting fear decide my life anymore. She trembled. Han. He reached out slowly, giving her time to pull away. She didn't. His hands framed her face gently, like she was something he wasn't used to holding, but wanted to protect with everything in him. He leaned in, forehead nearly touching hers. You asked me once why I stay, why I come down here, why I watch you, why I notice everything. His voice softened. It's because you're the first person who ever looked at me without wanting something from me. Her breath shook. And you're the only person I want to stay, he whispered. She closed her eyes. I'm still scared. So am I. I don't want people to look at me the way your father did. They won't. They already do. He exhaled slowly, stepping even closer. Then let me stand with you. She blinked up at him. What does that mean? It means I'm done hiding how I feel. His throat moved as he swallowed. It means if people talk, they talk. If the board questions me, they question me. If my father threatens me, he threatens me. But I'm not letting fear decide my life anymore. She trembled. Han. He reached out slowly, giving her time to pull away. She didn't. His hands framed her face gently, like she was something he wasn't used to holding, but wanted to protect with everything in him. He leaned in, forehead nearly touching hers. You asked me once why I stay, why I come down here, why I watch you, why I notice everything. His voice softened. It's because you're the first person who ever looked at me without wanting something from me. Her breath shook. And you're the only person I want to stay, he whispered. She closed her eyes. I'm still scared. So am I. Then what do we do? He smiled. Small, tired, real. We start anyway. She let out a tiny laugh through her tears. You're really bad at this. He nodded. I know. But you're trying. I'm trying, he repeated. This time, she didn't hesitate. She stepped closer until her chest brushed his. Soft, tentative, but certain. His breath hitched. His fingers tightened just slightly at her jaw, like he was afraid she'd disappear. She looked up at him. Then keep trying with me. He exhaled, relief flooding his face. He leaned in, not sudden, not rushed, not desperate, just a slow, warm, hesitant movement that closed the space between them. His lips brushed hers gently, so soft she almost questioned if it happened. She opened her eyes. He whispered, Just tell me if I should stop. She shook her head once. Don't. And he didn't. He kissed her fully, carefully, slowly, with a tenderness no one believed he had. His hands stayed gentle, his breath warm, his chest rising against hers, like he'd finally let himself breathe. When they parted, she kept her hands on his shirt, grounding herself. He kept his forehead on hers, grounding himself too. After a moment, he whispered, Come upstairs with me. She stiffened. Your father? He'll have to get used to it. And the board? They already know. And the staff? Let them talk. Her heart pounded. Hun, this is a lot. He nodded. Everything with you is a lot. His voice softened. But it's the first time a lot feels like something I want. She bit her lip, fighting a smile and tears at the same time. So what are we now? He brushed his thumb along her cheek. Together, he said simply. She breathed out, relieved. Okay. He took her hand, carefully at first, then with quiet certainty. She held back for a second. Hun, are you sure? He squeezed her fingers gently. I've never been more sure of anything. They started walking toward the elevator. Her small steps, his steady ones, their hands intertwined. If you love stories filled with tension, vulnerability, and impossible love, don't miss She Cared for the Abandoned Man, never imagining he was a billionaire CEO, a K-drama style tale that will break your heart and then heal it slowly.